And we're live. Hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
Final hour.
All right. Well, let's make it count. Gritch, you've got some weird to do.
Yeah, so I'm
Sure does.
deep brain scanning Tau.
All right. Why don't you read for us what Deep Brain Scan does?
So when I have time and physical intimacy with someone, which can be either mutual or one-sided, I can read them more deeply than normal. So I roll plus weird. On 10 up, I get 3. On a 7 to 9, I get 1. And while reading them, I can spend my hold to ask them questions, which are all really like creepy questions. Like, what was their lowest moment? What do they crave forgiveness? What are their secret pains? And in what ways are their mind or soul vulnerable?
So, yeah. So I guess we fade back in on you and Tau alone in this like berth, this cabin or whatever.
And it's more like having like a meeting with a therapist than like an actual doctor like examining you. I just like sit her down and then like sit facing her.
Okay. And it's like physical. You actually have to like touch her to be able to.
Yeah. So I'm like cupping her hands.
Well, let's see. How do you convince her to let you touch her in the first place? Because she's like when
I guess
July is just like meh.
Yeah, if Rich wants to do this, that's on them to figure out how to convince Tau.
Tau is like, she's like, hold on, I'm fine. I am very fine. Everything is fine. I feel great. Yes, I don't want to go into the room with the creepy dude. Like, they can stay away from me, thank you.
No one says anything?
No one's helping you.
I need some Smith July time.
Well,
yeah.
As you can see, and I like kind of gesture around us like, this is not perhaps the kind of place that you are used to, and things work a little differently here. It may be that I just want to make sure that you're not suffering any adverse side effects of your surroundings, which maybe you haven't heard of this, but it's a very real possibility.
And I can hear this, right?
Yeah.
I think I probably just, like, in all of it, if she's resisting, I just yell, he's a doctor! Come on!
All right, okay. So, Gritch, you roll to manipulate, and it sounds to me like Navarre is trying to help you.
Totally. Just in the,
Well, you're gonna need it. So, Navarre, you roll plus your history with Gritch. Is 0?
How do I determine that?
It's just the score you have.
Your HX.
Oh, it's -1.
Awesome.
All right.
So, what do I roll? History?
Just 2d6 minus 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're coming for you, Adam.
So I missed then.
All right. Well, you both.
I have that one last hypnotism hold.
Yeah.
Fire me.
Yeah.
Do it.
You have one on her too.
I do.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the one on Gritch. My hope is that maybe Gritch reads this as less as like me throwing up my hands and saying, "Fuck it, it's up to you to deal with this," and more of saying, "Hey, I trust that you can deal with this yourself."
Well, of course that's how I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Because I know that you believe in me.
Yeah.
You care about me.
It's nice that your hypnotism goes out on a positive note.
This time, anyway.
I like it.
Okay, right, so I succeed on a 7, which, if I remember correctly, means that it's all very compromised and conditional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on a 7 to 9, they need some concrete assurance right now. And the promise here was what? Like, I'm going to make sure you're going to be okay. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna make sure that like the environment hasn't in some way like contaminated her.
Okay. And how can you prove that's all you're going to do right now? What can you do concretely to make her feel more comfortable? I can offer a suggestion if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not sure what.
I think that she'll if she's not alone with you, she'll like go along with it.
Yeah, and so like there's this moment of like hesitation or pause, and then I'm just like, Smith, could you come and
If is he alone timing? I'll come and stand by the door.
I think she wants someone in the room.
yeah, like
He's
Smith,
gone.
can you help me?
Smith is hard just walking.
I'm trying to decide if Smith is close enough to be called back in, or if. Okay, yeah. I think he's on the deck, like looking out on to the east, as the sun sets to the west behind us. But like it's getting maybe a little pink in the sky. Yeah, and like sigh and turn around and walk back in. I can't walk away from this fucking group. I swear to Christ.
It's the most beautiful sigh the apocalypse has ever seen.
Yeah.
And I walk back in.
I just like look at you by the like sunset and just like, huh.
Everyone.
Yeah, you're walking
Yeah.
back in, and we're all just like slack jawed. Like,
Yeah, everyone around.
go look at the sunset some more.
Yeah.
Go back out there and look wistful.
And like I walk. What's the room like where you do this?
It could just be one of the like crew quarter
Okay.
rooms.
What does your pod look like, though? Is it individualized?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm interested in. Like, it started off as one of those. Is it still that, or have you got like stuff?
And if those are like really personalized, then I would say actually this probably happens in like the mess hall or something because I just like, sit down with them.
Okay.
Have like there's like a small room with a table and 4 chairs or something. Like
It's like built in. There's like a sort of booth, U-shaped booth with the table in the middle and
built into the
like lighting above it, and everything's built so it can be like you can strap stuff down and.
Okay. I think then like I like move us to sit down the way like a couple consulting with a doctor would, where I'm like holding Cal's hand supportively,
Sure.
like waiting to hear a diagnosis or a synopsis of what's happening.
Yeah, and I think Gritch maintains a certain like air of professionalism.
Yeah.
And like that is.
And you look perfect, so it helps, right?
Yeah,
Like
you all look great.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just like presenting like, yes, I understand what's going on and like the steps you're going to take. Like I totally do that doctor thing where I'd like take charge of.
You have respect for your profession. Yeah.
And I act like I deserve respect at the very least.
Do you introduce the idea that she ought to take these drops onto her tongue before this happens?
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
Right.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the procedure.
So yeah, we get her like sit it down, and I pull out my little like I have like a little case with all my like medical stuff in it. And I like rifle through that, and I pull out there's like a couple different vials, and I like look at them, and I'm like, look at her, look back at it, like put one away, grab a different one. I'm like, so I'm gonna need you to like take this, and maybe like it's like glass of water, 2 drops in it. Like put the vial away, and we're like.
So she stares at the glass of water and watches the drop like dissipate throughout it, and maybe it's reminiscent for you of. I guess you didn't see it, but it's like your
The
blood,
cloud, my own blood
cloud dissipating. Yeah, there's just this like drop, and we all focus really like intently.
Yeah.
It's one of those nice like minimal depth of field shots of the water drop, and like so she stares at it, and then she looks at Smith July. She's like. You want me to do this?
I say, oh man,
She doesn't say anything. She just looks at you like, should I drink this? Yeah.
I'm having second thoughts. And I don't know if Smith is having second thoughts. I need to like really work through. And how often do you do this, Gritch?
This is like my thing that I
know,
do.
but like people normally come to you and say, "I want you to do this."
Yeah.
This is like a whole other thing. How often do we bring people on board and then you just decide to do this to them? How often have I seen this happen?
I think this is a new thing. But like usually if people come on and they hear about what I can do, they're like excited about it and ask. But this is the first time I've just been like, I need to examine you.
But this is the same process every time, right?
Right. The process isn't what's holding Smith up. What's holding Smith up is that like this is super non-consensual. Like, she doesn't have a clue. Right. And also you want to do it. This is the thing that you're excited about doing.
Well, I don't.
Right. You're not showing that. But like,
I'm not like
normally this is an act of commerce.
Yeah.
And like they know exactly what's going to happen, and they say like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do that thing because I want to know something. In my mind, in Smith's mind, she was also like a second ago talking shit about how it's better to not remember things.
She was. It's true.
And so Smith is like very, I think, obviously conflicted here.
and I kind of like make eye contact with you and just like lean in a little.
It sounds like you're manipulating me.
It
Yeah.
sounds like
That's what it sounds like.
it's the chain. Yeah. Manipulate her for me.
Yeah.
Basically, because I
Okay.
have leverage.
Yeah, I would need to be convinced. Smith would need to be convinced to go ahead.
So I give you that look, and it's like, it's not like an aggressive look. It's just like this is important. Like we should be doing this.
Stop fucking with my stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and
Oh.
and I say it's very important that people who have been on the ship and have possibly been exposed to what was just going on. And I'm like still looking at you, Smith.
Right.
We need to make sure that nothing untoward, there were no contaminants. It's very important.
So is it gonna be the carrot or the stick, Gritch? Are you offering experience
carrot.
or is it
I have
active?
XP if you like agree that this is a good idea.
Right, like visibly agree. This is like a real defining point for me in terms of who Smith is.
Yeah.
And maybe to just lean on it a little more, I'll say, and it's not just about her safety, it's also about ours. And I like smile at her. You understand, of course.
All
She's not
right.
even looking at you. She's like, you're both looking at Smith right now.
Yeah. How about this? You do the procedure on me. She'll see what happens. She'll see it's okay, and then she can decide.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I didn't mention when we were talking about the move is if I fuck up and miss, I do one harm. So then, I like take
It's
the
a
little
simple-
vial back out.
Well, it's already all there, right?
You have the glasses on the table.
Yeah, I
And
just
I
slide
ju-
the glass to you, but I'm going to need a second dose, so I have the vial out again.
Oh, good. I've done this before. I've done this before. Don't worry about it.
It was sexier last time.
I didn't need to drug you the last time.
As far as I know.
Although,
Go ahead.
now that you mention it, that is
Yeah,
one
wow.
new service we could provide. There's 2 ways to get your
Yeah.
I
All
just
right.
need to puppet strings.
I drink the stuff.
Cool. Take the medicine into your body. This is how we engage with health
All
here.
right.
Yep.
Go ahead and
Cool.
make that
And then
roll.
I'm gonna brain scan this beautiful specimen. And so I get +1 because of the receptivity drugs.
Mhm.
Right.
7.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. So what is this?
Hang on, wait. I think the receptivity drugs give you +1 choice.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I thought they gave me +1.
Let's double check. Here.
Let's double check it. I thought it was an extra
Oh.
choice on the list.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. Blood.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Let's see. So Brainer. Here we go.
Oh, +1 hold if I use a brain move on them. So yeah, it doesn't give me +1.
Doesn't give you +1 to do it.
Oh no.
Sadly,
do you want to help me examine your brain?
I could do 8 interfere, but we don't have. Yeah, so I could do an 8 interfere, but do I like open myself up? Is that how
I think maybe what happens is that you feel, and I don't know how much of this is conscious or how much of this is unconscious. I think it might affect your relationship because you can both feel this, like you resist, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't. Some part of you, conscious or otherwise, might not want him to or them to do this to you.
Yeah.
And then in your resisting, Gritch is like, shit, and then like stuff starts to go bad. It starts to fall apart. The patient doesn't want to be operated on.
So maybe like we both start sweating a bunch.
Yeah.
Like
wait a second.
weird, like.
So your choice here, I guess, if you were helping, would be to like try to be like, no, like.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, we have done this before under different circumstances, and there's something Smith wants to open up in non-sexy circumstances, wants to prove that this is okay. So I'm gonna try to do that. What's our history right now? Our history is 3, right? No, our history is 0. Okay, good, great.
You
good.
know me best of anyone.
Good, right? So just 2d6, right?
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay, so you expose yourself to some danger, but Gritch gets the partial success.
Okay.
So what would have happened if you failed?
I think. Oh,
The mechanics, like who takes harm in that case?
Smith would take 1 harm. Just like straight up 1 harm AP.
can I take that harm, but like not show it immediately?
I was gonna say, so your help here, if it's only 1 harm, then dealing 1 harm is not on the table, right? Because it's like,
Right.
How about we split the difference and say both of you make the harm move at 0.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, like it's kind of like this
It's,
difficult.
you basically lose everything else in the room except the like intense mental struggle.
Right. Sure.
Bam.
Whoa.
Gritch
Whoa.
ascends above it.
No.
My mind and Smith's mind.
It's the harm move.
Oh, that's
the
right.
harm
It's
move.
the other way
High
around.
is bad. High is the
Fall
worst.
into the deep pit.
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
You don't want a 12 on the harm move.
Okay, I know.
Of course, when I roll high, it's bad.
So,
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, John.
Yeah, no problem.
oh man. Okay. So we're gonna have to narrate how it happens, but I was just gonna say. So you guys seen the movie Scanners? You ever seen that? No. Okay. So Gritch, you I'm gonna choose your out of action, unconscious, trapped, incoherent, or panicked. I'll let you narrate which of those happens.
God.
Okay.
So you go to delve into Smith July's mind. Some internal defense triggers, and both of you take the fallout from it, and it fucks your shit up something fierce.
Right. But does the delving still happen? Because that was still a success, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get your question.
We'll get there.
And then the other thing. So I'm going to choose for the 7 to 9. Smith July, you lose track of someone or something you're attending to. So when this happens, Tao screams and runs out the room. While the two of you are locked in mind meld.
My mind to your mind.
Yeah. So before you pass out or panic or whatever, what question do you want to ask? And you actually get 2 because the drugs.
Because I have +1.
Oh, cool.
But you know what? You know what? This feels like an even game. I'm gonna go ahead and give one
You can
question.
give one of my questions to.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a transfer of information.
I see.
And so like maybe as part of this experience as well, there's a point where you're like resisting,
Yeah.
and I just kind of am like push.
Right.
Sorry, I just dropped my mic. So like, I was kind of a dick to you. Like I was just like, you don't want this? Well, that's fine. I'm just.
It's like saving a drowning person, right? Like it's like you're both dragging each other down, so you're just kind of
Right.
like, nope, headlock, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. You're coming through this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So who gets the first question?
Why don't you ask first?
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
I want to know
Let
about.
me read you the list.
Yeah,
as
please do.
So, what was your character's lowest moment?
Uh-huh.
For what does your character crave forgiveness? What are your character's secret pains? And in what ways are your character's mind and soul vulnerable?
I want to know, especially with how you're at now, what you're doing now. I want to know what you want to be forgiven for.
I think Gritch takes on a lot of responsibility for like the state of the world. Whether that's like appropriate or not, they feel like they like, you know, whether it's like, you know, I should have done more for all these people, or like,
Right.
there's this kind of weird, like very big guilt that Gritch is carrying about just like the state of everything.
Yeah.
Like maybe they are trying to like take it all on, and they probably shouldn't. Like they didn't cause the apocalypse or anything.
Right.
So like, yeah, Gritch has this feeling of, like guilt around the state of the world in general,
Yeah.
or well, the like psychic state of the world, right? And like, oh, I have to do stuff for these people. I have to help.
That's interesting because it's both like poignant and heavy, but also like, come on, it's not your fault. Like,
Yeah, and like
not being ridiculous, but
you're
also like,
arrogant. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, Gritch wants
So-
forgiveness for the apocalypse.
Um,
Directed nihilism. Everything is terrible and it's all my fault.
So, in what ways are your character's mind and soul vulnerable?
I think we did this one already.
Next highest on the list. Just keep them coming.
I thought we did. What was your lowest moment?
The thing is, you can ask the same question more than once, and you just get more information about the same thing, or you get some other way you're vulnerable.
The thing that I remember being vulnerable about was about my desire. I don't know, maybe this didn't come through you, but it was about Smith July wanting stability. Yeah, that was like the way in. So I want to make sure you had that in your head before you committed to it, at least.
I mean, because it becomes how else are you vulnerable? Give me some more. Like,
we can go with that if you'd like to, but I just want to make sure that we knew that we at least had.
I want a more concrete one of like very like small short-term way in which you are vulnerable, because this is like the back door that Gritch found into your brain.
Right. So the more specific thing there is it's very clear that Smith wants to make everyone happy, and so if you can convince him that like, hey, this is for the best for everybody, he will do some shit. He will be willing to do some shit. If he can be convinced that, like, this is the way we keep things, we keep a consensus. Like, he doesn't want the boat rocked. And so even if that means, like, things not being great, and it just kind of like a little like a mellow, okay, he'll always go that, like, path of least resistance or, like, get us towards that.
You liberal trash.
Yeah, he's the most... He is like, I
just don't want to upset anybody.
He doesn't want to say. He just doesn't want to cause a fuss.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Everybody can be reasoned with. He thinks, or not reasoned with, but at least convinced. You know, we all have to live somewhere. Like, we're all people.
So what I'm taking away from this, Smith is very naive.
Yes. Yeah. Or at the very least, or confident in the ability to like skate by.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
For clarification, is this? I want everyone to get along specifically to your friends and people you care about, or is it like everybody?
I think it's everybody. The world is terrifying. We fucking can't do this. We can't be shooting each other. I'll do it. I'll shoot people, but like we can't. There has to be an easy. What's the easiest way for us to stop fucking around and just like we're barely living as it is?
Right. Like if killing that dude means everyone's kind of happy now, you would
cool. I'll kill that dude.
Putting pressure on Smith July to do something for the greater good.
Right.
Especially if it provides stability for Smith July personally, is a good way to get you to do stuff.
Absolutely.
The GM will remember you said that. Excellent. That's good.
Well, so creepy, terrifying music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I talked this.
I mean, a lot of the Brainer's moves aren't even for the Brainer. They're for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so there's an idea in Apocalypse World that I think our game is going in that direction too. I think Meg said this a long time ago about the game. When you look into the Psychic Maelstrom, you can find stuff out, and the GM asks you questions that you then answer truthfully. And so she said a long time ago, like, that's how the Maelstrom knows things. Like, when you ask it a question, it's because somebody else told it something. And that's just one way to look at it. But because your Brainer moves here are kind of in that space, like, it makes it kind of in fiction sense. Like, the GM heard this, but I think what it means in a way is that the Maelstrom heard it. And
I definitely think that that the questions that you ask each other and all of that stuff, it gets siphoned away into the Maelstrom too.
Yeah.
It kind of becomes available to the psychic.
So from the outside, if anyone were watching, I think we have a good idea of what that moment looks like. But is there an inner, like, do you have to, Gritch, to like take Smith July out of this bad place? Do you have to drag them through the labyrinth first, or is it like?
Yeah, like maybe you get a little peek at what that's like.
Yeah. Which also brings some context for why you think that this is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that when you break, Gritch, are you knocked unconscious, or are you just like delirious, or because that's your effect. You're like out basically when you break free.
I like the next person to like come upon me will find me like in the fetal position in the corner of this little like booth in the mess hall, just like kind of muttering to myself. Yeah, and like curled in a ball, sweating a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like get all fucked up for a bit.
I'm going out to try to find Tao, but like before I leave the room, I look back and I say, Gritch, you can be a real asshole. But but this ain't your fault.
And I'm just not even there.
Yeah, I'd leave. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So while that was happening, so she gets up and runs basically right away. So you guys are still locked in the psychic thing for a bit. Navarre and Frankie, you're still outside on the boat. So you hear the door like slam open, and she's not like running away screaming, but you see Tao like making a run for like south. She's just gonna jump off the boat and run into the woods. Fuck it, she'll brave the deer if it means getting away from you weirdos.
Can I catch her?
Yeah, if you'd like to try, sure.
I would totally try and because
Okay.
I think I know that what they're doing is weird, so it could have ended this way. So I would at least go after her because nobody needs to be jumping in this water. Not if are we docked?
Yeah.
I
think so, yeah.
John. John, you're muted. That looked important.
Sorry, muted. Yeah, the point has like that rooftop that we docked.
Yeah.
I will follow her if she takes off running for sure.
Okay, and you want to catch her before she gets away?
Yeah, I'm just trying to lasso her. Not really, but like just.
Well, yeah,
not trying to inflict harm.
So yeah, I mean, you're gonna act under fire. Fire she gets away.
Yeah,
and I get to roll hard again.
I will help you if you need. Oh shit, you don't need my help.
Fuck no. No problem. Yeah, she's not used to. I mean, she lives in an area that's maybe like it's a floor of a building. She doesn't do a lot of running, so she sprints off of the boat, stumbles down the gangplank a little bit, loses her footing, and then you're on her like a fucking cannonball.
I just basically I feel like it's the way that I treat my kitten. Like I just kind of like pick her up and like. Come on, it's cool, lady. It's cool.
Okay. So she's like
I'm bench
like
pressing
trying to pull herself.
I'm like, oh, good opportunity.
She's trying to pull herself away from you and is like kicking and like hitting you and is like, no, I don't want to go back. Let me go. Like panicking, basically.
I approach her as she's struggling with Navarre. I'm gonna try to read her.
Okay.
This is how I manipulate somebody.
Does she have long hair?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's cut pretty short.
Yeah, I come up as she's struggling, and I maybe do you have her over your shoulder or like under your arm, or how are you holding her?
Probably I'm trying to think about. Probably over my shoulder.
Okay.
Just because then I have her legs like tucked under here. She's trying to kick me. You know what I mean? She's probably smacking me, but she's not doing anything to me. She's hurting herself more than she's hurting me. You know.
I come over and I take her under the chin and like pull her head up so we're looking at each other again. And I'm giving her this kind of really, come on. I'm giving her this look like, give me a break. What are you doing? So I read with a 7. Woo! All right.
Okay. There's this audible relief.
Yeah, I only saw the dice. I didn't see what the bonus was.
So I wanna look into her eyes. I wanna get a read on Tao. How can I get her to relax and let me think of a better way to put this. How can I get her to play ball with us? What does she need right now?
To like help her like calm down and impediment. Okay. Just like keep her away from Gritch.
Okay.
And like don't let them do weird stuff around her, and she'll probably be okay. She's not okay so much with Smith July anymore either.
Okay.
The two of them are just bad news. And just don't make her be around them, and she'll probably calm down. Now that she's away, she'll chill out and not try to run away. But
all right. So I'm like, it's okay. No one's gonna mess with you. I reach into my shirt. I pull out my key to my cabin. I'm like, it's got a lock on it. If you just want to go hang out down there by yourself, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna figure this out. We can't take you back. We cannot take you back to Mercer's, but we're gonna figure this out. Just chill.
All right.
No one's gonna bother you.
So do you put her down, Navari?
I think what I would do is if she's still not fighting me anymore, she's listening probably.
Yeah, I think if you put her down, she like doesn't run off or anything.
I think I'll put her down, and I'm trying to be like calm, but I'm not good at it, right? So I look at her and I go, "We're not gonna hurt you, girl."
Like the most threatening way possible.
But it's for me. It's not for me. It's like
I think that's a big statement. Like the blood crazed maniac isn't gonna hurt you. It's a big deal.
So take the key. Go in the room.
Okay.
We're not gonna hurt you.
I love that your body language about the fact that you're not going to hurt her is still kind of confrontational. You're like, what? Come on, we're not.
What?
Because I don't get it.
You want to not fight about it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So she takes the key and retreats to your cabin.
All right.
So I think at this point, Smith July, you come out of the room, and I think as soon as you come outside, something about being out of the enclosed space, you have a sudden like wash of like agoraphobia and nausea.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're gonna throw up.
Do we have? I run up to the two. I don't want to go out.
You're about like you just walk out of the cabin.
Yeah.
There's like the guardrail and the ocean in front of you, and then there's.
I puke right into the ocean. Absolutely.
Okay.
Off the side or off the back. You know what? Yeah.
Okay, so you don't remember like drinking a 4 liter of salt water, but that's what comes up.
Okay.
And it's like full of little like rust flakes. You just like barf that into the ocean and like pick the like little bits of metal out of your teeth.
Yeah.
I told you there would be side effects, guys. Come on.
Side effects include.
Yeah. You also made me drink a weird thing, so.
No, but this is caused by the maelstrom. This isn't
okay.
mine.
Yeah, sure.
That's your responsibility, though.
Right. Is Tao back in? Are they back at this point, or am I just puking?
You don't see her.
Okay.
But
do I see Frankie and Navari? Okay.
Yeah.
And they seem relaxed.
I seem exasperated. I'm just like, okay, all right.
Oh man, I unbutton my shirt and pull up my undershirt to wipe my face.
Mm-hmm.
Spit, kind of embarrassed. And I call over to Frankie. Is Tao still here?
Ship meeting.
Yeah, sounds about right.
We go. So I go back into to the common room, and Grinch is curled in the corner, muttering to himself.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right, and I take out the grease pencil and draw real fast on the countertop. I just ignore Grinch's muttering.
We're all sitting.
Yeah,
I guess
I've got two chairs. I've got 2 chairs, and I'm just
semi-lucid now.
Yeah.
I'm lifting.
I make an X. I'm like, we're here. We're not going back there. Sorry, Adam. What did Monk tell us to do with Tao? Do we have
just get her away from Mercer's Enclave.
Okay.
The unstated was somewhere safe. Don't just go throw her in the ocean. It wasn't get rid of her.
No, so we've done half the deal so far.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I sketch out the northern coastline and sketch out the sort of southeast area. And I put up my hands and I'm like, what are we gonna do with her? Where are we gonna take her? She can't stay with us anymore. This is not gonna work.
Why don't we drop her off with Jesus? Which is the name of one of our business associates.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually I have Jesus on a maybe list for something else, so this is perfect. Yes, Jesus is a great choice.
Good.
Jesus a heart holder?
Jesus is Jesus is the son of
God, right?
Yeah, of God. He's one of the higher level members of a family organization called the Fisher clans, and they're a bunch of related families. You'd never refer to him just as Jesus. He's Jesus Fisher.
Jesus Fisher. Okay.
Just the same way that his sister Hannah is Hannah Fisher. Everybody is.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Name always Fisher. Yep. The Fisher clans, they're basically like farmers, right? They get fish and they bring them to the different enclaves and sell them. and they're like a tightly knit group. And I guess Jesus is your contact within the Fisher clans. And that might be a place that you could
Sounds
go.
like a pretty good idea, actually.
She could use
but then,
the
like-
structure of the Fishers.
I like say this, and all you are like, yeah, and then my face changes. But of course, do we really want to wish this on them?
Look, our job was to
Actually,
get her
like-
away from Mercer and take her somewhere where she's not going to get hurt. It's not our job to raise her.
Well, I would like to protect whoever we're sending her to from the consequences of Mercer, which,
Mercer's coming after you.
well,
He's right.
and I like it. Clearly, am not enjoying remembering that whole experience.
I mean, yeah, you're right. She might want her sister back, but we gotta deal with her vendetta some other way.
We drop Tao off. Make sure no one knows where she is. Tell her to keep her head down for now. The Fishers will take care of her.
Yeah, if only she wasn't Mercer's twin sister, she could disappear. But she looks just like Mercer, so it's like impossible to hide her exactly.
Why do we care if she lives?
I don't care if she lives per se. I care about doing the job we were given to do and not turn it into a lifelong commitment.
We have to keep our connections relatively positive in this world. There's only like 100 people.
Yeah, let's
Right?
How is Monk ever gonna know? Is he gonna go find her in the secret place that we've put her, which we're not gonna tell him about?
Are we not?
That girl's
Monk not want to know where she'd be?
I don't know if she is trouble.
I was gonna say I don't feel like she's trouble.
I think she's afraid and scared and wants to go back to a place she shouldn't go back to, but she's not cursed.
Whatever's happening at Mercer's, I think,
Well,
is going
I
to
guess
blow over. Here's the thing. Mercer's, she told me about this guy. Nothing. He's, sounds like a religious kook to me. Thinks everyone should forget everything. Thinks memory is unimportant.
I'm just like narrowing my eyes.
Yeah. That's what that the orange on her arm is about. The way I figure it, give it a couple weeks. Things at Mercer's will change one way or the other. And then we can pick Tao up and bring her back home once everything's blown over. And there's nothing guys at the bottom of the sea, or maybe he runs the whole place. And if she wants to go back, good, great. We just need her to get out of the way while that situation boils over.
It's not like you to walk into something like this blind, Frankie. Is there something you know that we don't about why she needed to go, or
It's just a simple delivery job.
it really feels that way, doesn't it?
I mean, that's what it would have been, but you had to go shoot Mercer.
Well,
Now we got bigger problems.
you're the one who gave me a gun.
Have we had repeated, like, probably deals with Monk before, too? Like, we don't
Sure.
want to necessarily screw over a good fuel and ammo source.
Yeah, Monk is the guy, right? He's the head of the dock there, so he decides what goes to what warehouse and how trade moves in her enclave. But I mean, if he weren't around, somebody else would have that job.
Right.
Yeah, we take on passengers sometimes, and that's what we did this time. She didn't want to go, but we didn't kidnap her.
Yeah.
We're gonna take her somewhere else, and that's the end of our job. We drop her off.
Yeah, there was no like struggle to get her on the boat. There was no fight. Like, she was having an argument with Exit that he evidently won, and she was like, fine, and got on the boat. He's just not happy about it.
I agree with Frankie. Let's take her.
Same.
So, how do we usually do things? What do you guys think in the past? We have a little meeting, and is it kind of a democracy here, or is it like I listen to your thoughts and then I give an order, or How do
It's
we?
feeling an awful lot like boss.
Yeah, that's what I think.
We all chip in with our opinion, but like Frankie just
Yeah.
decides. And if I can't convince you, then that's
Yeah.
It's like
That feels
listen
right.
I listen to all your opinions, and then I say, okay, this is what I'm doing with the boat now.
yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're,
everybody gets all worked up, and Frankie says, "Relax. This is what we're doing."
Oh,
And
God.
so there's like maybe a pause while you're like,
Come on.
I'm sorry. I had to.
That was
Get
good.
out of the way now.
so yeah, like you're kind of deliberating or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, I take it all very seriously. I trust your judgment, and I did hear a little bit in what you said that maybe you are telling me that she cursed in some way, but I'm not really taking that super seriously right at the moment. I feel like our current problems are because you shot Mercer.
yes.
And I don't understand all the psychic stuff. I didn't really participate in it, so I'm kind of just sort of glossing over it. Mostly because it was so freaky. I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do, and we need to have a scene, Grinch. But that's a separate issue.
So I think like in that pause where you're clearly like deliberating, I actually like reach out and grab your arm, and like this seems like kind of a big deal to me. But I'm just like, I'm going to tell you now that she's trouble on a level that you don't want to get involved in, and in a way that you're not equipped to deal with. Maybe we don't send this little typhoid Mary off to the Fishers, who we like and depend on. Maybe we send her somewhere that we're less interested in preserving. Or we just drop her off in the middle of fucking nowhere for all like. But
We're not doing that.
That's not the job.
And like I'm just like, yeah, my body language is totally checked out at this point. Like I'm just like, it's up to you.
Do you want to really sell it? Do you want to really like manipulate me on the point of no? I'm not just being weird. She actually is trouble, and she's actually going to hurt the Fishers if we take her there. You need to take this very seriously. Because
I really do want to do that.
Right now, I'm not taking that advice.
In fact, I'm going to use a new move that I have.
Oh boy.
So I'm easy to trust, and so when I try to seduce or manipulate another player's character, I roll hex instead of hot. And with NPCs, I roll.
You're +3 hex with me.
So I'm +3.
Oh man.
Smooth.
So I'm just gonna roll.
Rock on.
Add 3. So I get
Sweet.
a 10. You get the carrot and the stick.
So it's both. All right.
Were you always easy to trust and we just didn't notice it until now, or did something change?
I think there's like the sense of like, yeah, well, like Gritch is like some kind of expert and like knows some stuff. And we have some history together.
When you get serious, we listen. Basically.
And like it's kind of about like that professionalism, right? Of like, you know, if I'm just like being like everyday civilian Gritch, like, oh whatever, yeah, Gritch is kind of a weirdo. But sometimes I'm just like super intense with people.
You put on your authority voice.
Yeah. This is my like expert opinion about what's going on here.
It's like knowing someone who's like a doctor, and they're always like, you should stop smoking. You should really stop smoking. And they're like, you have cancer.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, sorry. Fine.
I've blown you off twice in this conversation now. Like, no. The problem with Mercer is your problem. Blah, da, 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 da. And you're like, finally, you're like, no.
Like, this isn't about Mercer. This is about, like weird shit that you don't want to get involved in.
All right, I'll take the XP, of course. I mean, again, this is like we're establishing a kind of threshold here where sometimes you guys like Frankie's the captain, but there are these situations where Smith's opinion trumps, and there's situations where yours trumps, and there's situations where Navarre's trumps.
Like, we need to blow things up, and you're like,
yeah. And we're seeing Gritch's trump card here, where you're like, no, she's trouble in a weird way that you guys don't get, but I do. So I think I take the grease pencil and I pass it over to you, and I'm like, all right, if we're not gonna drop this bomb on the Fishers, where are we gonna put it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you have somewhere in mind already? Did you have an enemy that you'd like to offload her with?
Yeah, like what's a holding that we know of that's like, Adam, I'll let you fill this in. But just like, yeah, where's a spot where it's like, oh, that's that kind of like on the outs holding where it's like things aren't very great there, or like
maybe people that don't
it's kind of like the
interact with Mercer at all. That might be
or it's like, or it's very far away. But my main thought here is just like a place that I don't mind sending someone who I think is like bad news.
Okay. Yeah, there's a
I don't really care about the people there, and so if bad things happen to them, like whatever. And
yeah, there's a hold, and it's like up here. It's actually like a landlocked hold. Like they don't have like boats and stuff necessarily. And the guy that runs it, Jericho, he used to be like a raider. People don't really trade with him because they don't trust him,
right?
And he just got too old to like actively be a raider, and he's accumulated some people around him, and they live up.
He's just kind of a tyrant.
Yeah. He's respected for like his prowess as like a combatant and as like a vicious dude, and that has earned him some followers, and they hang out up here.
All right, fine.
So, is there any way to interpret we took her to Jericho as we took her somewhere safe? Is that completely?
No one else would go there. It's like the last place anyone would look.
Reed, well, okay. Why don't you? I mean, you're tied in to gossip and stuff on the boat. Like you hear things about different places.
Yeah.
That question sounds like reading the situation to me.
Sure. Yeah.
You're reading the general political situation.
Yeah.
At Jericho's Beach.
Totally do that.
I like that.
Cool. Okay, Reed.
Nice.
Awesome.
If only I had the opened version of that. All right, so what am I gonna ask? I'm gonna ask. First I'll ask, like, who's in control of Jericho's operation? Is it Jericho, or is it somebody?
Yep.
It is.
Yeah. It's small enough that it's like Jericho and like 4 or 5 other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some like general kind of
boss
people who live around there.
Yeah.
So this is like a way to interpret this question, I guess. What should we be on the lookout for in terms of like about in terms of leaving someone there? Like if we left Tao behind there, what might we expect?
It would depend. It would depend on why you were leaving her there, and if she served a purpose or not. Like if you just go there and you like give her to Jericho and are like, we are going to pay you in gasoline and whatever to like not kill her or drive her out, like take care of her for us, then that would be one thing. If you can find something for her to do and like basically say to Jericho like, hey, she'd be useful to you.
So basically we need to give him we know for sure that he's not going to take on another mouth to feed just out of the goodness of his heart. We're gonna have to.
But he's a practical enough guy that if she has a purpose, he would probably not necessarily welcome her, but like be willing to have her around.
Because we have this big shortage of people, right? So like even just she's a person who can like do manual labor or something would still be relatively useful, presumably.
I'm going to ask about who's vulnerable to me, but what I kind of want to know, since this is like rumor mill stuff, I guess,
sure.
Also, like, is Jericho vulnerable on this particular point? Like, do we know that he is, he needs X, Y, and Z, or, like, do I know of a thing off the top of my head that...
Yeah, you've heard that he's been asking around for, like weapons and people who can use them, because not so much like the surface rumors are like, oh, he misses his old ways, he's gonna go back, he's gonna be a raider again, everybody look out for Jericho. Dude's like a scared old man, right? Like he realizes that time has passed and he's made a lot of enemies. Yeah. He's like, shit, I need to like really like fortress up here until I die of age.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. And actually, I think that like Navarre, you've been like you've had people ask like, "Hey, you look good with a gun. Like, why don't you come to Jericho's Beach?" And like, we respect people who can shoot guns there. And like, you look tough. You could protect us.
Yeah, I think I was totally thinking while you were all talking about it that I've probably been approached quite a bit about going up there. Like they want me up there.
Yeah.
So me showing up with something is also a point of leverage. It's like I can help. I don't know that I will, but I can. And
right, but you can make that promise and
Yeah.
it's worth something, or you can insinuate that maybe
Yeah.
you could one day.
Yeah.
when the war starts, whose side are you on?
All right, so I mentioned a couple of these things just so they're out in
Okay.
everyone's minds here, and yeah, when you like mark it on the map, like what about Jericho? I'm like, yeah, I think we might be able to work with that. That's not a bad idea, Grinch. What do you guys think?
It's fine. Smith is just exasperated at this point and is knows he's not going to push. This isn't his area, right? Like,
yeah, although I think I push Smith a little bit. I'm like, hang it, like, wait, are you getting attached to this girl?
you know me, I get attached to everybody a little bit. And he the smile comes off of his face though, like after like that joke, and he says, "Something, Gritch isn't wrong. There's something about her. There's something about that situation. It doesn't sit right with me, and I don't know what side to play here. Everything seems like it's on a knife's edge right now, and I'm a little terrified that whatever move we make is the wrong. But sure, Jericho. Choose a knife. I'll walk down it."
No one's gonna follow us to Jericho.
All right.
I was gonna say, so I like that. I like that during the meeting. Does anyone want to bring up like what the fuck happened out there with the axe wound, or does that just like go unsaid?
We don't remember really, so I think at this point, like we had so many of these resets into the weird that it's like there's no point in wasting our time unless we're gonna sit down with Gritch and have him do anything for us. It's like
I'm too fucking traumatized.
Yeah.
We
don't have time for that.
I do want to have a session with Gritch, but that will have to wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe then the last thing that we see is you guys getting the boat up and like taking it off the mooring, and Tao, at the edge of the boat, like just holding on, like kind of like looking out at the water as you head north towards Jericho's hold.
Yep.
I think, I think I sing a real soulful rendition of "Don't You Forget About Me."
Awesome.
As we sail away.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta go look up covers for that song.
I know.
Yeah, that's like the opening credits.
I was gonna say between sessions, and I did a little bit of this, but I still haven't found anything. If you folks want to like look around on the YouTubes for like, imagine if this was a show on HBO, what would the opening credits be like? I love doing that. So
me too.
if you find something you like, let me know.
But it must be Twitch and YouTube friendly.
Well, we can just post the link. I wanted to look at this for an unrelated reason.
I am taking copyright-free music suggestions from
that would be
our
awesome
audience.
too. If
So
we could have
you could
that'd be
tweet
rad.
at me if you have music that you know I can use on Twitch and YouTube, and I'll try to do pre-stream music next week.
Cool.
We're getting better by the week.
Let's do our session end. So we didn't do this last time, but this time we will.
Okay.
So at the end of every session, each of you choose a character who knows you better than they used to. So we'll go around.
I can go first because mine's easy.
Okay, Navari, which character knows you better than they used to?
Gritch, for sure.
How come?
We had a moment in the weird.
Yeah.
We got an understanding, and then I think honestly what happened is in the weird our minds opened up and a little bit of my rage like fell into him, and that's why that whole moment happened where he tried to shoot and failed miserably because Gritch should not do that.
This is not a Gritch thing to do.
No.
Yeah.
So we definitely have a different like.
I like the idea of Navari's rage as like a mimetic virus.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm angry, and then everybody around me gets angry.
throws off. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Gritch, how about you?
I think Frankie knows me better now, or
Yeah.
has come to some new understanding about me.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally makes sense.
I feel like we broke some ground together.
Yeah, I agree. That brings me to -1 with you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Frankie, who knows you better?
I think I'm gonna say Gritch. Actually, I think this was you reset in MRK XP, right?
Yeah.
I think that moment when you laid down the law and I took you seriously, like that was one of the first times when it was like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna listen to you. The respect level like ratcheted up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rich also for me, not only because of the brain fuckery, but also just because Gritch saw me react to the notion that they wanted to get their fingers into Tal's brain, and like has this understanding now that like, oh, maybe I can't count on Smith to just like go along with everything I do, and that's a pretty important
thing. Ethics. This is
something. It's something. It might be fear. It's hard to know.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it for our session for today.
Do we want to do a goodbye?
Yeah, let's go back and
us.
do some shout outs, and then we can call it a day.
Cool.
I want to go last. So.
Okay, I'll start us off. Thank you for watching, everybody. My name is Avison on Roll20. My real name is Stephanie, if you didn't know that. If you want to support me, you can follow me on Twitter. It's underneath my frame here. You can also follow Misclicks, but more importantly, follow Roll20 because they are the ones making this project happen. Support us by heading over and making a free account, roll20.net. We also have on the Twitch stream at the bottom, we just launched a t-shirt campaign on Teespring again. We do this all the time. So if you haven't gotten a Roll20 t-shirt, they're cheap. We make like no profit on them. They're like $17, and I think the t-shirt it's like $16. We make $1. So we just want to get the word out there. We always say show the world how you roll. This is a cool new logo by Big Red Robot. I think that's his Twitter. I hope it is. Our designer Dylan. So check it out. Click the link. At least go look. The Teespring store's cool. I set it up. And yeah, thank you for watching. Let us know too in the YouTube comments and Twitch if we improved. We're gonna get better every week. We'll get you guys some music soon. And yeah, tweet that at me. And that's all I got. Andrew?
Yeah.
You got a Twitter now.
Yeah.
You have no tweets, but you have a Twitter.
Most improved.
Tweet stuff at me. That would be awesome. Like any suggestions or ideas about the character. Someone did like a portrait of my character, which was super rad.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Yes, we'll share that later.
That was awesome. Yeah. I'm just excited to hear what people have to say. So feel free to give me a shout and I'll chat back.
Cool. Austin?
Follow me on Twitter at Austin_Walker. I'm here on Twitch at The Calcutech and at Stream Friends. You can read the stuff I write at clockworkworlds.com and listen to my podcast at friendsathetable.net. It's an actual play podcast of Dungeon World. So
cool.
Pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm John Harper. I'm on Twitter at John_Harper. My website, I do game design. My website is 17design.com. All spelled out. Some of my free games are there, and I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/John Harper. I do a lot of game design stuff. Started to do more streaming game stuff as well, and really loving it.
We're
awesome.
we're playing a game soon, aren't we, John?
We are. We're next Tuesday, I believe. We are playing Blades in the Dark. We already played it once. It's on YouTube. If you go search Blades in the Dark, you'll find it. We did a session a while back during the Kickstarter, and we're getting that group back together for episode 2.
Getting the band back together.
yeah, it's going to be great. So that'll be next Tuesday. Adam's going to stream it live, I think, right?
I'll stream it.
And then that'll be on YouTube after that.
Cool. I am your game master, or in this case, master of ceremonies, Adam Coble. You can follow me on Twitter and at Skinny Ghost. I talk about role-playing games all the time. If you want to watch me do more of this action, Come back every week, Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific. Throw a follow on the channel. I'm also going to be back tomorrow at 11 with all kinds of background stuff. I do my GM prep live, and if you want to know how I made this cool map and the map that it's based on, I will show you that. If you come back tomorrow, same time, 11 o'clock Pacific, we'll do some secret background stuff. Otherwise, I stream at twitch.tv/Adam Koebel. And my schedule is up on my website, adam-koebel.com/schedule. And that's where I put all of the role-playing games that I play, all the games that I'm streaming live, and any other weird special crap I'm doing. So come back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thanks for coming. Thanks to the cast for being awesome.
Yay.
Thanks for hosting.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day.